Hey everyone, and welcome to the Always On Point podcast with Kristen Ambos. We are here today joined with Payton Krueger, who is from a prior podcast. We are bringing her back for a second edition. For those of you who haven't watched the first one with Payton Krueger, I'm going to stop you here. Go listen to that one first and then come back to this one because I want you to have the whole story. But with Payton, Payton is a real estate agent in the, Appleton, Fox Valley market mainly. But on the side, she's also a house hacker. So, and if you don't know what that is, listen to that first podcast with Payton Krueger and you'll know. So that's we'll get you back to that one. Yes. we rewatch it. But anyway, Payton, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure having you here. And you guys, the other thing I just dropped on her is the fact that the first podcast that we had with her was one of our best and most successful podcasts that we've had since we started Always On Point. So thank you very much for...
Crazy.
Yeah.
Thanks to the audience.
Yes. And everyone listening, it matters. And what that told me was that you found the podcast and the information we talked about valuable. And so, of course, I wanted to bring that back for a couple reasons. One, we are on the second side of what she was doing with her renovation. So we're on the completed phase. So I want her to talk to you about that. But then also, too, because Payton so graciously talks to us about numbers and what to expect. And you're so transparent with that, which really helps the listeners out there understand because they can't go to just everybody. And a lot of this stuff is private because of finances. So they don't necessarily want to share everything with everybody. And then the other side of it is sometimes you just have your competition out there who won't give away any of their secrets. And we're of the abundance mindset, right? Like the more you can help, the more you can do. Yeah. And so I really just wanted to bring you there. So without further ado, Payton, thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So now that you're on this side of the house rehab, how you feeling?
I feel great.
Good.
It feels so good to finally be done.
Yes.
It was so long. It was 8 months.
8 months. Mm-hmm. So would you say that was typical time? I mean, I know you worked your butts off on it.
Yeah.
But if somebody was going to renovate a home right now to live in, mm-hmm. Tell us what you did in the house. Let's back up a second. Tell us what you did in the house and if sounds like the right amount of time to plan. Because some people walk in and they're like, oh, we can have this done in 30 days, 60 days. And the reality is that you might find some more stuff. You might change your mind and those kind of things. So dive into this a little bit with us, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So the house we bought, it was around 1,800 square feet. And it started off as a 3-bed, 1.5 bath.
Okay.
And then we remodeled it to be a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. So
you had some walls to move and some things to do.
We only moved one wall.
One wall.
Yes.
And all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Dang,
and then
okay.
we added one. So right when you walk in, there was a big, huge room, and it was almost like a second, like a family room.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So to me, she had her washer and dryer in the previous owner. And I was like, well, there's already plumbing.
Yeah.
We might as well put a wall up, add a bathroom there.
Yes.
Go from there. And then we converted the rest of the room into the master bedroom.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So
overall, it did take 8 months. And
yes.
We graciously had help from our parents, family members. So we were able to get a lot of extra hands on deck.
Sure.
And then we also hired out some of the larger stuff like electrical, plumbing. We don't do that.
Yes.
Right? But with it all, my boyfriend and I both work full-time jobs.
Yep.
So it was hard. We were doing nights and weekends.
Yes.
I would say if you're working full-time, you definitely need probably 8 months.
8 months. Okay. So I was going to say you shared your journey on social media with it too.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was following you along, one, because I was so proud of the work you were doing.
Thank you.
And then two, just because it's a major task for somebody to take on. And two, I obviously worked with you through some of it. And so I just wanted to see what this looked like because I personally have never renovated a house. It scares the ever-living bejesus out of me. However, I see what people do in the eyes that they have. And man, if you can do it, do it. Mm-hmm. Because wouldn't you say that the sweat equity, if you will, is by far worth it?
Oh, 100%.
To put your vision out there and what you want and what you want to see.
Yeah. So I had all these different vision boards when we first went through the home.
Yeah, I
And
love this. Okay.
It was super hard to envision like what it was going to look like when it was all finished, right? So I would try to put these boards together so that all of our family members, then my boyfriend could also see it because he has trouble with that.
Yeah.
Like seeing the vision.
Yeah.
And so that helped out. But then when you're going through it, like I did post a lot on social media, but I started once it started to look nicer, because I would say a good half, like the 4 months that we did have at the beginning, we were demoing the house and getting rid of everything. And it's just not pleasant to see.
No, it's not the fancy side of it, right?
Yes. No, not at all. So people would come to me, they're like, oh my gosh, you're doing so much. Like, it's going so fast. I'm like, probably because you never saw
this is the longest 8 months of my life.
Yes. I'm like, you guys, it was a long 8 months.
Yes.
We were used to living with each other. We moved out into our parents' house. It was weird. You're texting your boyfriend, hey, do you want to hang out?
Yes.
When you're used to just living together.
Oh my gosh. Yep. That would take on a new token, new side of it.
But it was worth it in the end.
It was worth it in the end. I love it. So take a step back just so we can go through, for those sassy listeners, I'm just kidding you, but for those listeners who haven't listened to the first one yet, now you have purchased this house through house hacking through a couple other houses coming up.
Yes.
Okay, so you were living in a house that you now were putting renters in.
Yep.
So that you could rent that house to move into this house. And that was all happening at the same time too, was it not?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you didn't listen to the first one. I have a home in Appleton that I rent out. So that's a rental. And then you actually helped us with the lending side of purchasing our first house.
That was the first time
that
home
we
buyer.
were to, like, live in with my boyfriend and I. And then this third house then we purchased, and we didn't want to cover 2 mortgages at once.
Right.
Because.
Well, and understandably so.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Scary.
We're young, right? Like, my boyfriend's going to be 24 next week, and I'm going to be 23 in August. So we don't have the abundance that some people do to cover 2 mortgages.
Yeah.
So we decided that we were going to rent out our house.
And by the way, that's okay. And that's 90% of anyone who's a homeowner right now. So you're talking to a huge crowd of, I want to do this, but I can't cover 2 mortgages and things like that. So thank you very much for just pointing that out. Like, yes, you're young and it's scary, but it's also scary too when, 5 years ago, I bought a house and I had to cover 2 mortgages for 1 month, and I was freaked out.
I would be freaked
out. Even though I knew I would be okay, having that scary. So I just wanted to stop on that for a second, because it is scary. It's real life. Even if you're like, oh yeah, I can cover it, then it becomes a reality. And it's a reality, you're like, oh yeah, just kidding. I don't want that one anymore. I just sell it.
And these are just the risks that you kind of have to take, right? So whenever you do invest, if it's house hacking or if it's going to be just buying investment properties, it's always a risk.
Right.
Right. Like, I always tell people you just have to go in.
Yes.
You're like, how'd you do it? I'm like, I just didn't look back. I didn't think too much about it.
Straight ahead. Yep. Put the blinders up and keep going. Absolutely.
Because when we went through it the first time, my dad, which he is an investor, and he's been investing for, like 26 years in the Valley. And he's done very large flips too, but he was like, Payton, this is a lot.
Are you sure you know what you're getting yourself into?
I think he was a little bit worried for me. It was like the dad coming in. And I was like, no, this is going to turn out amazing. I want to do it.
This is what I want to do.
Like, okay. So he supports me with my decision of what I want to do, but
love it.
It all worked out in the end, right? Like there was so many times so we bought the house for, now I'm going to get numbers.
Yes.
Because then it shows the risk.
Yeah.
We bought it for $170,000, which is a very good price.
Yeah.
We did get a very good price on it because there were holes in the ceiling, so people couldn't get traditional lending on it.
Sure. Good point.
So that was hard. But it was like a beautiful 1900s home that has arches and everything.
Yes.
I loved it. But anyway, we bought it for $170,000. We knew we were going to have to put a ton of money into it, just to get it to where we wanted.
Yeah.
So we actually took out a home equity line of credit on our first, my boyfriend's first house, so the other house in Hortonville that we had.
That you had,
that we rented out. So we took out a HELOC on that, which that was a cool story because we bought it for $110,000.
Yep.
And it appraised at $210,000. After we and I just did the numbers for my taxes. We put $9,000 into that house.
$9,000, and now it's returned $100,000 to you. In how many years?
We weren't even there a year and a half.
That's
A
crazy.
year and a half.
See, that's where people they get so scared or they get mad because pricing is so crazy, but the return on what you're spending right
Yeah.
now is also there.
And I don't want to like be like, oh my gosh, look at what I have.
Yeah.
It's mostly just for me to be like encouraging people to
Yes.
say, go take the risk.
Yes.
Because it is like, I love talking about it. It's so cool.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's incredible. And there's not one other place you could have put your money that would have performed that well.
No.
The stock market or anything in that short
No.
of time.
In a year and a half.
Yep. Like going back into real estate, people, there's a few naysayers out there like real estate's going to fall, real estate's going to fall. It's not going to fall.
I don't think so either.
It's not going to fall. It's not 2008 and 10 because one, and you've worked with me.
Yep.
We still need a ton of documentation in order to get approval. So that's way different than 2008 and 10. The other part of it is we have such a shortage of homes for people who want to buy. Now, do I think that the values are going to stay stable and slowly increase? I do. I really, really do. I'm a firm believer in that, and all the data points that way as well.
Yep. I agree. I don't think it's going to go down.
No.
Right? Like everyone keeps asking me, is there going to be a drop? I don't think so. I think it's
No.
going to level off.
Yep.
And you know what? Year over year appreciation, it still appreciates.
Right.
On average, prior to COVID, it was 3 to 4% a year.
Yep.
So,
And
you're
I think
still
our
going to be
area
getting
got
that return.
10% last year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's like 9 or 10%.
It was wild.
And they're still thinking 5 to 6% this year. So it's
So that's
still
why I
going.
think it's not going to completely go down.
Nope, I agree.
I think when people think it's going to go down, it's going to appreciation level year over year is going to go down.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean the home sale value is going to go down. It's just going to level off.
Correct. Completely agree. That's a great way to put it. It's a great way to put it. So, and it's going to appreciate year over year over year.
Yes. And I always, like, people come to me, they're like, oh my gosh, why am I overpaying for this house?
Yes.
I say, if you're going to own it for 10 to 15 years and you're going to see a 3 to 4 at least, obviously,
Yeah.
it's been more in the past couple years and to come probably, but 3 to 4, just say for easy numbers and to be on the safe side, you're going to be if you're paying $5,000 out of your pocket over on a home and like taking extra, paying that appraisal gap coverage,
Yes.
you're going to get that back in 10 to 15 years.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Easily. And I've been open too, but the fact that we're an investor and we've bought and sold houses throughout the last 25 years of my career. And we've got 2 right now that we, at the time thought we overpaid a little bit because there were bidding wars on them, but there was something about them that I just felt really attracted to. And, now the values on them, I mean, we could sell them and double our money on them easily in 2 years. And
That doesn't
they have great
surprise me, yeah.
renters and all of that. So it's one of those two. No, as scary as it might be, take the risk because the return on this risk is a very, very good one, as well as you're not going up and down. Like I made the mistake when everyone told me this last week to open up my IRA and 401k accounts. I shouldn't have done that because I think in the last 2 weeks I lost $4,000 in one of them. And I'm like, I only opened the one and I'm like, nope, we're putting it back. And I know some people lost a ton more than that. This is, one, but I'm still like, oh, okay, wait a minute. So I just in a week lost that, but I gained double over here on this housing. So, and listen, if people like you and I who are, what we'll consider mom and pop investors, don't keep investing, the massive management companies will.
Yeah.
So these massive management companies come in, right? And then they are the ones that buy the single families, the 2 units, because they're paying cash for it.
Yep.
Seller looks at it and goes, oh my gosh, I can just get this cash offer, which is great. But then it takes away from the longevity of people renting from individual people.
Yep.
And then now they're only renting from these massive management companies.
Like if you don't invest now and act now, you're going to regret it.
Yes, 100%.
You will. I am, like 98% sure you will because everyone that you talk to that has been an investor, I have a property that I wish I would have bought. You have one.
I have one too. Everyone remembers, we were saying that, everyone remembers the property that they didn't take the chance on that blew up.
Yep.
And you don't want to be on that side of it. It's more
No.
fun to be on the winning side of it.
Yes. And then 2, like if these people keep investing, you'll never have a chance.
Right.
Like I'm not a big investor at all by any means. And my dad having been an investor for 25 plus years and having 20 some properties, that's still not considered big in our area.
No, not at all.
Like he's a small investor.
Yep.
So I'm even smaller.
Yeah, I'm with you.
know?
I have only a couple houses here, a couple houses there, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just still so important for the community aspect and to make sure that communities are running themselves, right? And that includes the landlords that understand, who aren't going to rent gouge you, who are going to make sure if you need something. One of my rentals needed a water heater on a Friday afternoon, and we were able to work with the tenants on that, things like that. So it's both great for the renters, the tenants, and it's great for the overall community because, like I said, that mom and pop person owns that house and they are parts of the community.
Yep.
Instead of management companies who don't care about the community at all.
And it benefits you too.
Yes.
Like being a landlord.
Yes.
Yes, there's costs to it, right?
Yeah.
But it's also pretty sweet. Like both of our rentals pay for my mortgage on my new house.
Yes.
And I only have to pay like a couple hundred, which is nothing.
So now you bought a home good,
Yep.
with a good price. You renovated it, adding value. You're now going to live there at close to no out-of-pocket money.
Yes, very close. So like I said, we did pull out a HELOC on our old home. So our monthly payment for that is $150 a month, and our mortgage on that house is right around $1,000, and we rent it out for $1,350, and then they have a dog, so it's $1,400 a month.
Yeah.
So we just we add the HELOC right into that. So we
Right.
say our monthly payment is $1,150,
Yeah.
and then we rent it for $1,400. So we're not making a boatload of money on it, but we're still making a good enough amount of money to where it cuts down
Heck
our
yes.
new cost, right?
Heck yes.
Yes. And then my old house, or my first house, not my old one, I still have it.
Yes.
The first one in Appleton, that one, my payment, because your payment changes.
Changes,
Whatever.
yep.
So this year it's at $760, I want to say. And I rent that one out for $1,295.
Yeah.
So that one is
that's amazing.
my
Peyton.
big one. Yeah. So it's awesome.
At basically 23 and 24 that you guys are doing this.
Yeah.
And I just find it so intriguing, and I love the fact that you jumped into it, and the way you're doing it is right, and the way you handle just putting the numbers together and looking forward and seeing it. But you also understand that without a little risk, there's a little reward.
Yeah.
Right? And now you're being rewarded well for the risks that you took.
So when you take the smaller risk, the less reward, right? The larger
Yep.
risk, the more reward.
Yep.
So this new house that we are now living in was a huge risk.
Yeah.
Because we had to do so much for it, and there's so many unknowns.
And when you start pulling down even one wall, you don't know what's
Yeah.
behind that wall.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a lot of unknowns out there, so it can be scary.
And trying to come up with a budget is
Yes.
very hard on a large home because it's so large, and it's way easier when you have a little tiny 900 square foot house
Yes.
versus double that.
Yes.
So I think our budget for this one, I was hoping to spend around $35,000.
Okay.
And we did end up going up to $45,000. So we did have to add in the extra buffer. We were hoping to do 6 months, but it ended up being 8 months.
So these are some good tips, though, because
Yeah.
if you would have told me just looking at, without knowing that number, I would have assumed I would have needed $100,000.
Which, yes, most people, but we tried
Right.
to do a lot of the work ourselves. So, all the painting we did ourselves.
Yep.
I do flooring.
Yep.
I love doing the
I
flooring.
love that.
Yes, I love doing LVP and LVT. Carpet I don't do, so
Okay.
that we hired out. Plumbing and electrical was hired out. And then my boyfriend is super handy, so he did all the construction side of it.
Yeah.
Because he works in it, and then his cousin is also in construction.
Sure.
So it's nice to have their input too. So
Yeah.
he would get input from them. And then the HVAC we obviously hired out too. So we did a lot ourselves. I mean, when you think about paint, flooring, and then switching out simple light fixtures, that's a lot of a house.
That is a lot of a
Right.
house, and that can change the aesthetics. That can change everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can do or have anyone that's handy where you can do that type of work on your own, the amount
He
of
put in
sweat
the
equity you're going to
cabinets,
have.
Even the countertops, which sound, they're intimidating.
Yeah.
So we got quartz. Listen to these numbers. I thought this was wild. I have
Okay.
to share this.
Yes.
The countertops we bought were quartz.
Okay.
And they're beautiful. I love them.
Yep. I've seen pictures, not in person, but I've seen pictures. They look beautiful.
Thank you. They were $3,500.
Okay.
I then asked how much it would be to get it installed.
Yep.
We got quoted $3,300 for just install.
Oh, okay. So doubling
Not-
the price.
Yeah. So that doubled our price from cost of the material
Yep.
and then cost of installation was the exact same. So I
Yeah.
was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So my boyfriend got him, his dad, his sister's boyfriend, and then a buddy over, and they installed the quartz. Because if you, and we were talking to the lady who we bought it from, and she said, you know, we've done this before in our showrooms. All it is a little bit of glue, like very strong, because quartz itself is so heavy.
So
that
heavy.
All you need
Not
is,
moving.
she said, like a nickel size of glue in the corners, and you set it and make sure it's level and even, and that's it. It just cures. So I was like, this is wild. I'm going to pay $3,300 for them to do that?
Yeah. No.
So they did it. And then our costs dropped in half for that.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
It was wild.
I got to high five you on that. Because that's
Thanks.
just knowing to ask the right questions
Yes.
and to do the right things. That's
Yeah.
incredible. And where it's
research
great, where it's great for the public is like, okay, if I just do a little bit of research, I can cut a lot of my costs.
Yes.
So maybe I can now spend more. I mean, $3,300, that would have probably just paid for your water heater.
Yeah.
And, you know, and more.
More.
And water heater
That would
plus
have done it. That would
some
have
lights.
$3,300 would have been like a furnace.
Yeah.
Or an AC unit.
Right.
Like,
that can really,
crazy.
so that little stuff can add
and
up.
my light fixtures. So all of my light fixtures in the house.
Yeah.
Except for the bathroom ones.
'Kay.
Well, some bathroom ones. All of them were from Facebook Marketplace except for one. So I would get my dining room light fixture,
Yeah.
that big chandelier.
Yeah.
That was $20.
Oh my gosh. So you just, gosh, I could,
Yeah,
we
and
should
then-
just have like a rummage sale show.
I love talking about ways to save money.
Ways to save money.
Because
And that's,
it was beautiful. I'm like, this is gorgeous.
well, and that's part of what I talk, not that this is the same, but it is in so many reasons because I talk to clients all the time about financial literacy.
Yeah.
Because it's gone. It hasn't been around in a long time. And sometimes it's just instead of going straight to Amazon, which I know I'm just as guilty as the
Oh,
next
me
person.
too. I'm horrible.
Is, you know, looking at Facebook Marketplace, look at somebody, I bought a rug from there last year and I got it for $50. I think she spent $200 on it.
Yes.
Because she got it and it didn't match her room or the room that she was in.
Same.
And I was like,
All
well, it
of my
matches my
rugs.
kitchen perfectly for underneath my kitchen table. I'll come pick it up for $50, brand new.
Yep.
So it's like it's not just other people's junk, if you will.
No,
it's a
and
lot of
it's-
times people's style is changing or this or that,
Yes.
and what they have is still valuable. It's
Yeah.
still nice. It's just not theirs.
And it's not, my house is not like, it doesn't look cheap, right? Like
No.
when I get secondhand items, I make sure that I like them.
Yeah, it's nice
It just literally was someone's style change.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
All it was.
And then bedroom light fixtures, I have 3 of the bedrooms. The master has a chandelier fan, but that one even was from Marketplace, brand new in the box.
Brand
Didn't
new in
like
the
it.
box.
I'm
How
like,
many? I'm just thinking right now of all the stuff I have with takes and brand new in the box that
Yes.
somebody could easily use.
Yeah, so we did that. Our last house, we actually, so we live in Hortonville and we drove to Green Bay, which is probably like 40 minutes when you're going from Hortonville versus Appleton. And our last house in Hortonville, we got the vanity for $600, and I was looking at the exact same one the night before, and it was like $1,200 from Home Depot. So we got it for half the price. She said, "Oh, we're doing a remodel. We decided we can't fit it down the basement. We can't get it down.
We can't get it down there.
So we need to sell it." And it was brand new and it was gorgeous. And I was
Yeah.
like,
And they bought
This
it.
is
Now
just
what are they going to
nuts.
do with it? So yes, okay. Key points.
yes.
Do as much as you can on your own. Mm-hmm. Look at second options,
yes.
and definitely research where you can save money doing. What I just keep hearing is, give yourself the grace and the time to do a lot of it on your own, with whether it's researching
Yeah.
the numbers and things like that, because you probably just saved $50,000 to $60,000 by doing that on your own. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing with us, because I think that's just as important.
Yeah,
to remind people of.
Like, I love doing flooring. It's
Yeah.
fun for me because I can get it done super quick.
Right. And now
And
there's
then
a
it's
million
rewarding.
YouTube videos you can, how to do
Yes.
YouTube videos, that it
And
is
that
a
saved
lot
me
easier.
so much money.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Even just doing that yourself.
That's
And
amazing.
take the risk,
Take the risk.
please, because like so we bought it for $170, probably put 45 into it.
Yeah.
If I were to list it today, I would list it at 3.25. And
at
I would
that.
feel confident.
And that's over $100,000 in less than a year.
But we're not going to list it because
Right.
we're going to stay there for 2 years.
Yeah.
So we can then sell it and not be taxed.
Capital gains. Tell you
So,
that right now.
Rather than
Yeah.
like $100K, just 30% being taxed on it, it can just like go right into my pocket or into the next
Yes.
house. So
There's a lot of great wiggle room and games that they allow you to play.
Yes.
So that you can, as long as you're setting up and you're setting your own expectation up right of what this looks like and what you do and how you do it. And that's truly the best financial literacy of building wealth that I could ever give somebody. And you just helped me give it to them, Payton. And I can't thank you enough for that, because I know that there's so many people out here who are learning such a great deal from you. So
I love it.
Thank you so much. And if you're looking for,
because
tell
it's
people.
like, then you just see like a light bulb go up, like, oh my gosh, I can do that.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's like a mastermind. You start doing more and more. So if you are not following Payton Krueger on her social media, please do, because she will, she shared a lot of that with you, as well as she's just a plethora of knowledge and so willing to help. So, you can go right to her website at Coldwell Homes and get her contact information. We'll also have it. Reach out if you're thinking about buying, flipping, starting, house hacking, investing, whatever the case may be.
Even if you just want to chat.
Even if you just want to chat, she's more than willing. And I've worked with her personally, and I think that she's phenomenal. So I will personally vouch for her. So thank you again so much for being a part of this. I appreciate you more than you know.
I appreciate you.
And thank you. I hope you have a great day. We'll have you on. There will be part 3.
Oh, I'm so
5,
excited.
6, maybe a 4 in there. So, all right, everyone. Well, the only admission we ask is for you to like, subscribe, and share with anyone that you think could get a really great grip on this. Our channel is growing, and of course, we want to continue to see that happen. So thank you again so much. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.